What's up, guys? So, welcome back, Eigen family.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to say make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out the website, Eigenbros.com, Eigenbros on Twitter, Eigenbros on Instagram, Eigenbros2 on TikTok. And then, of course, thank you, patrons, guys. We greatly appreciate it. If you want to become a patron as well, just make sure you check out patreon.com/Eigenbros. Me and Juan do an audio podcast there every week, at least 30 minutes. And then we have the Discord server on there if you guys want to throw some memes on there and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Isn't it, Juan?
Yeah, throw some memes on there.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. That's it. Yeah, let's get to
Brief intro.
Brief intro because let's get into it. There's a lot of questions that we have to navigate, and so here we go. How do we start?
So,
did you find any good questions? I have a couple.
So the only stuff I found was just I looked on AskPhysics subreddit.
Same.
And they actually had some good questions,
Oh,
man. I'm like, damn, I got to start checking here more for any like conceptual questions that I want to post on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like this. I like this topic this week. I didn't even think to ever check AskPhysics. I don't know why on Reddit.
So I kind of went through, and by the way, you folks are welcome at home to go through this list yourself. It's the AskPhysics Reddit. It's got about 91,000 members currently.
Oh, so we basically had the same exact thought, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know that you were going to AskPhysics subreddit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you said Ask Science.
Yeah.
I think.
Sure.
Okay. Or something like that. But yeah. Anyway.
So what I sorted through the top.
Of all time.
Well, this year.
Okay.
But I can go all time, dude.
Well, I just looked at the top. I just looked at the ones whatever were on the first page. I was like, oh, these are already kind of interesting. Because I feel like this is going to be one of these podcasts where we're thinking, which can take time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the first one. Let's talk about this one.
Sure.
It says, "My advice to all youngsters: don't spend your years at high school trying to get ahead for university."
Ah.
Would you agree or disagree?
So this is more of a like becoming a physicist question.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely agree. I think it's a waste of time. I think you should be maximizing fun in high school. And actually, I think your funness should be a function of age. So the amount of fun you're having should be like a decaying exponential with age, and maybe not even a decaying exponential. Maybe just a linear. A negative slope linear.
Okay.
Because you'll always have fun. You'll always have time to have not fun when you're older. The more responsibilities you get and the more things that you have to pile on in terms of bills and whatnot, and just all these things, these responsibilities you have, the less fun you're going to have anyway. So just maximize your fun while you're young. Of course, be smart about it. I'm not saying go ahead and do a bunch of drugs and, go on a bender and then, be borderline on the edge of death. Although you can maybe do that once or twice in your life.
I would suggest maybe early in your 20s. Don't do it. Don't do it in your 30s when you're it's going to take you weeks to recover.
Right.
Yeah.
So your funness should be all done responsibly in terms of like, at least graduate high school.
Yeah.
You don't have to even get A's and B's really. I certainly didn't get all A's and B's in high school, and I still was able to succeed down the track of going into physics. But I would just say maximize your fun responsibly. Mm-hmm. What would you say, Juan?
Something along the lines of what this person is saying here.
Well, don't read their stuff verbatim.
No, I'm not. But
okay.
The sentiment is.
We want the Juan take.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is like it's a little bit of what you were saying too. Spend your time enjoying life. Make friends, relax, explore your interests. My point of view has always been, you're going to be doing physics for work.
Yeah.
So,
and you're going to be working the rest of your life.
You're going to be working for the rest of your life.
So you have decades of time to work. Okay.
So
you only have one time being young.
Yeah, you literally only have time. You will be paid to learn this subject that you're doing as a job.
Yeah.
As a job. Don't take it into your personal life, in my opinion.
Well, you can, but have other things.
Have different spheres of doing things. Like don't bring separate the two.
Yeah.
have a life outside of your career. Have a life outside of
Yes.
this stuff because
I always feel bad for the young people I see who are really stellar at physics, like beyond, like really stellar at physics, because you're like, I know you're not enjoying life, any other aspects of life. You're just only solely exposed to physics. Like I knew a guy who was in my lab briefly during the summer when I was undergraduate. I mean, this kid was smart as hell, and I mean, he was like insanely on top of his stuff as a physicist, and he was operating at a level of at least, I would say, a high level grad student by the time he was like not even a freshman in undergraduate yet.
Jesus.
You know, he was like probably like what 17 or something. He was like just going into it. And I was like, man, I feel bad for him at the same time. So I'm like, I know he's going to be an amazing physicist, but like, you have to enjoy life, man. You gotta, like, I wanted to take him to a bar so bad. I was like, man, this kid is smart, but man, he needs to learn and be exposed to like the real world, because this is real life, you know?
Yeah.
Physics is fun, but you gotta have balance in life. So it's like, you know, you have plenty of time to be good at physics. You know, you're not gonna be left behind. You know, meanwhile, we started at physics. What age were you when you started really to know what physics was?
21, 22.
Yeah, I started about 22, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, but we're a different age. So how did you start?
Yeah, I know. But we didn't start the same.
Yeah, but we ended at the same, so you couldn't have been. You had to be younger than that, right?
No, man. What are you talking about?
Let me think. Because I started physics at like 22, so that's what, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27? 29?
Maybe it was 21. I think it was 21.
Oh, I think maybe I'm also a little bit off. Maybe mine was like 24 or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Besides the point, but
yeah, because for me, I started at 21, and I guess I got to live a little, but even then, like, there's still some life that you gotta live. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when you get out of undergrad, or if you decide to go to graduate school, and even after you get done with graduate school, you spent your 20s just working for the most part, right? Doing.
Did
your
I
degree.
spend mine?
No, I'm saying you spend your 20s doing mostly your career, like prepping for your career, right?
Yeah, for me, undergraduate college is building your resume.
Yeah.
Like, that should be your main focus, is just building your resume. So, like, just slathering on a bunch of stuff, like getting your what's it called, your extracurriculars in order, making sure you're getting decent enough grades. You know, like 3.0-ish is probably pretty decent. Making sure that you're networking, getting involved with people, you know, talking to professors, talking to colleagues and whatnot, going to national labs and things like that. This is specifically for physics, but this is you can generally apply this to anything. But yeah, that's, to me, undergraduate is building the resume. So you're going to learn a lot of stuff with a surface level kind of understanding of things.
Yeah.
You just want to get as much on that resume as you can, so that you can, you know, look like you're, or be prepared for getting into the next phase of, let's say, graduate school or even a job.
Yeah, don't worry. I used to stress in the summers. I don't know if you had this too, but like, oh man, I could always be doing more.
No, because I was always in the lab in the summer.
I know, but that's the thing. Like, in the summer, I would be in the lab doing stuff, but I would be like, man, I could be doing way more. But it's, find a balance, because like during the school year, when you're taking classes, you're not gonna have time to do what you could have been doing in the summer, having some fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for me, it's a little bit different, because, you know, this was already like my
for you, yeah,
fourth time around or something.
Yeah,
you know, this is like my 6th year of technically in college or something. Yeah. So I was beyond having fun. I was like, I'm just going to commit solely to physics.
To be serious, yeah.
And then for me, fun was like working out,
Gotcha.
you know, on time. So yeah, it's a little bit different depending on your situation. But I would say if you were an undergraduate, like the guys who were normal traditional undergraduate students, you know, 20s, 18, 19, in my era, you know, they would have fun by, you know, still doing research in the summer, but then they would still, like, you know, play video games and, like, you know, have fun by going out with their friends and whatnot. You had more time in the summer. Like, you don't have to, like, be studying, you know, electrodynamics to get ahead for the next semester.
Yeah.
Like you can do that, but like you got to have balance. And I think doing research is probably better serves you in the summer than like studying extra physics, because you're gonna get that extra physics eventually.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yo-lo. You're only young once.
I
But
think
no,
you
yo-yo.
messed that all up. Yeah, yo-yo.
Yo-yo. I'm sorry. We should bring the hashtags back and be like yo-yo. Hashtag yo-yo. You're
Yo-yo.
only young once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live young, do your fun young stuff, experience love and
And hate.
love and hate.
Gotta have the opposite.
You
Get the spectrum.
right. You got the full scope of life. Experience life, folks.
Yeah. Some of my best experiences were where I took the summers off and just did.
If you got to take the whole summer off as an undergraduate, do it.
Yeah, literally did nothing, just hang out with my friends and make memories like that. And that's what I'm saying. Like live a little bit. Don't become preoccupied with like, oh, I should be learning this, I should be learning that.
Right.
You will have.
You
time.
will be fine.
Yeah, you will have time. There's
and the thing is, you become more motivated career-wise. At least for me, I did as I got older.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're older, once you've done all the stuff that young people do, it becomes unfun to do that.
Yeah.
Like, because for me, it's painful. I don't want to get drunk, blackout drunk. It hurts.
It hurts. Yeah.
So it's like I've lost all motive. I've lost the like I don't have a fear of missing out anymore because I don't care. I don't want to do any of that stuff. So do things in the chronological order when you're young. It actually is fine. Like you're like, oh, I'll do it later when I'm older. The thing is, you're not going to desire to do when you're older. Yeah. I like being boring and fun now.
Yeah, right now my ground state is much different when I was younger. When I was younger, there was a veracity and vivaciousness to life.
You're like, I want to go out and see things. I want to do all this stuff. Like the world is your oyster when you're young.
Yeah, I want to go to a house party, rager, and then at the end of it, or maybe during the weekdays, maybe listen to podcasts for a couple hours. But that's the thing, like do these things like you're saying in chronological order. You don't want to be 35 and
at the rager with the undergraduates.
With the undergraduates,
it's a bad look.
Unless you look really young,
even then it's bad. It's like, because then it's just like, why are you here?
Because that's happened to me. I got invited to a house party. From a student of mine was just like, hey, dude, you're so cool, man. We should invite you to a party. You should come to my Halloween party. And I was like, oh, appreciate it, man. But I'm pretty sure there's just gonna be a bunch of 20-year-olds there, young 20-year-olds.
Yeah, I'm not doing keg stands at 30 years old.
I'm not gonna be like, what am I gonna be, a chaperone or a supervisor? Hey, come on, that's not a good idea. Please get off of that.
Right.
It's not even my house. Why am I policing people's behavior?
Yeah.
Point is,
so it becomes unfun when you're older. Just know this.
Point is,
unless you do it in the wrong order, then you have a fear of missing out.
Yeah. Like if I went to that party, I probably would have had a good time, but at the same time, I would have been feeling out of place.
Right.
So go to
you'd be watching the
party.
clock saying, is it almost time for bed yet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, next question. The student said, I failed 5 out of 11 classes during my first year of university studying physics. Do you ever feel not smart enough to dive into physics? Do you ever think that your brain can't make your dreams come true because you just might not be as smart as you thought you were? Damn, this guy.
The old imposter syndrome take. I mean, it's a very common occurrence, so I would wager that you're probably going to feel it while you're in physics. It's just one of these things, especially when you're young, man. It's like, it's the young aspect once again. You're always comparing yourself to other people, and then you have this skewed perception. Insecurity is so high when you're young because you're seeing everyone's highlight reel, basically.
And you're low value.
You're lowballing yourself, and you don't see your own value. You don't see the skills that you're good at. It's this weird, twisted thing that you just have inbuilt in you as a human.
Sorry, and I'm saying low value in a way that's like, or low skill, because you haven't developed any of those skills yet.
Oh, right.
So keep going.
But you might see people around you. You're like, man, they're just so much better than me. They're just so much smarter than me. They're just, everybody else is doing better than I am. I'm the dumbest person in the class. I guarantee you probably 90% of the people around you are feeling the exact same way. So
Yeah.
if that's the case, like not all of you can be the dumbest person, right? So it's just a part of the experience, you know. It's just you have to realize that you cannot compare yourself, and everyone has their own path. Just because this person gets this particular subject, doesn't mean that they're better than you. It's like you might get something else faster than they might. Everybody has their own skills, and the beauty of physics is different mindsets are such an asset in the land of physics. Because I mean, you know this one, like when we're talking about problems, like when you're discussing problems to solve with different people, someone might see something that you didn't see, and you might see something they didn't see, and then you guys figure out the problem at so many different dimensions that you might have otherwise just doing it yourself. Mm-hmm. So I mean, guys, imposter syndrome is real. Just know that your perception is skewed. It's not the real world. You know, as scientists, we know that your senses lie to you. You know, your intuitions lie to you. So just know that you are better than you think. Unless you really suck. No, I'm just joking.
Well, this guy said that.
I'm just kidding.
Well, this person, right? They said they failed 5 out of almost half their classes. They failed.
And this is like undergraduate classes, or
undergraduate,
like physics, or what?
Yeah.
5 out of 11. Why is he taking 11 classes?
Well, assuming they've taken a full
yeah, but he's saying what, like 6 a semester, almost 5, 6 a semester? Is that what he's saying?
No. If they've taken total of 11 classes and they've already failed half of them.
So I want to know what this guy's schedule looks like.
Yeah.
Are they taking 5 classes in one semester? If that's the case, that's where you messed up. It's like
no.
Don't take 5 classes a semester.
Assuming their first year of university, they took 11. They failed 5 out of their 11 physics classes.
That's brutal. That's tough.
Yeah, because that means. Sorry, keep going.
I mean, that is an indicator you need to shape up. It's probably, for what I would guess, is the commonalities is bad time management skills, not studying enough. You know, you could have things going on in your life, but this is where you got to figure this stuff out. But time management is probably one of the most critical ones, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, usually people who have bad time management, that's when you're not going to pass properly. You have to dedicate an amount of time to actually studying properly. There's no getting around it. This ain't high school where you can just read the book, you know, the night before and then ace the test. You know, like with physics, the thing is, what I've discovered. Of course, this is a skill that I've known before physics, just because, you know, I was an older student. But the act of actually doing it, you have to go through it. Like, this is one of these things that can trick you with physics. Is if you're not used to this already, you can look at someone do something and then say, "Oh, I got it, right? Oh, I got it. I understand it." But the problem with physics is you can sometimes get stuck or stopped at the details. So you actually have to walk through the entire problem step by step yourself, and try not to look at any external resources as much as possible. Only look at it once you've actually gone through it, you know, step by step as far as you can take it. Then you can maybe turn over a book and see, okay, that's it. But you have to actually go through the motions and do it, even if you think you understand it, because I guarantee you there will be one aspect of it that you're like, oh, that is something I got hung up on. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to fool yourself into thinking you understand something in physics when you really don't. Yeah. You have to go through the entire motion. You know, it's like you have to build it piece by piece, and that's the only way. And then once you've built enough pieces up, then your tool set is full enough to where you can actually start solving problems regularly because you understand them so well. But yeah, that's one thing that you got to get over. And it's so easy nowadays to look at solutions and find these things that you can get away with that on homeworks and whatnot, maybe. Sometimes you got to learn the skill of actually solving the problems step by step and walking them through.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you add to that, Juan? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. Don't fool yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you're like in this person's scenario where you failed, you took, from the sounds of it, 12 physics classes, 12 classes related to physics in your first year. That's like you're taking
That's too much.
Calculus, Physics 1.
Well, he's at physics, not even math. Because
Well, I'm
math I can
assuming-
kind of understand, but
I mean,
but
I don't know what-
is there
I don't
even
know what
12 physics
school-
classes?
yeah, just like
Is he taking every physics elective too?
Unless they're, that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, unless you took Cal 1, Physics 1, and other kind of calculus or physics related classes where it's like maybe you took some lower division. Yeah, because the thing is like you have to go through Physics 1 through 3 before you even take like E and M and.
Well, we didn't have that in my school.
Oh, okay,
it was just physics. It was just 2 semesters of intro physics, and then you
can take whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for me it was you have to take Physics 1 and 2, and then you could jump into the E and M and.
Yeah, that's the same then.
Yeah.
Not 3 though. We didn't have physics 3.
Oh, we had modern physics. That was Physics 3.
Oh, we did too then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of a BS class though. You could easily skip it, I think.
It is. That's where you're supposed to be introduced to quantum mechanics, but
Yeah, but they didn't. They just told you about the Broglie equation. It was not quantum.
teach you the norm. I remember I was like really trying to study the normalization of a wave function. I was like,
okay.
Wait, normalizing? Like I'm a gears grind slowly kind of guy.
Yeah.
So like I really need to digest
As am I.
information.
Yeah.
Like as I'm going through it. And if you're one of these people, if you're like this guy maybe like or this person like just that needs time to process information, know that about yourself and
Yeah, accept your learning style. You're not going to be somebody else. So if you're caught up in the comparison game again, stop looking at someone else's learning style. Accept your learning style. If it takes you a really long time to understand something, accept that that's how you learn things.
Yeah, and work that into your schedule.
Yes.
Like
Factor that in.
Yeah.
Factor it in.
I had a similar thing. Like I was like, why can't I just like, accept certain things? Because I have to prove a lot of things to myself when I'm thinking them through. Because
You got to do it then.
I'm a slow guy. I'm a turtle.
Right. You got to do it. Some people get away with memorizing certain things.
And some people
They can do it.
But I looked at some of my peers, like they would just kind of accept things when if they could be given a subject material and they could accept it and be like, I'm gonna run with it.
Right.
But for me, I'm not a run with it kind of guy.
Right.
I like need to know some background, some context. Like,
right. And we're very similar in that as respect,
Yeah.
right? So we, when we would do homeworks, it would be just hours and hours and hours. We would, our average homework time was probably 10 hours a day.
Yeah, it was a long
Wouldn't
time.
you say in
for
graduate school?
Yeah. And I mean, even in undergrad, like I would take some time. The thing is, like, in undergrad, my biggest mistake was what you were saying not to do, which was I would give myself not enough time to really ruminate on problems because I was taking such a high load of classes.
Yeah.
Because like in undergrad, it's like volume. It's like volume, and then like making sure to just get things done without even really.
And you're gonna have to accept that a little bit in undergraduate because it's very more fast paced.
Yeah.
In graduate school, we kind of have the luxury of like we're kind of settled down in some sense where we can ruminate over these problems a lot longer. But undergraduate, you're gonna have to kind of go with the throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks a little bit. But if you just, this is where the comparison will come in handy. You can look at yourself compared to other students and say, okay, maybe I need to step my classes back a little bit where you can maybe not take one or something. Take like 13 credits. I think I took 13 credits usually. Or maybe take a little bit more math classes and physics so you're not super off track. Because I think math classes tended to be easier because you didn't have to create the equations using your what is it called? Like you didn't have to use reasoning to figure out what equations to use when you're trying to solve math problems. Like math problems is just the logic. You just know the recipe and you just follow it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get around by doing other ways to kind of keep yourself on track and not getting behind. Like give yourself a couple math classes and maybe one physics class or something, or two physics classes.
Yeah, don't front load it. Don't front load a bunch of stuff. You have time to sprinkle physics classes.
And don't try to be cool and be like, oh, I'm coming out of high school, I'm going to take E&M off the bat. Like, I'm going to take Stat Mech off the bat. Like, yeah, maybe some people can do it, but just if you can't do that, then just don't.
That's the thing about knowing yourself. You really have to know yourself and be like,
But good luck with that coming from high school.
Yeah, it took
Nobody
me.
knows himself coming from high school,
Yeah.
basically.
I went through an existential crisis because I didn't accept the fact that I was a different type of learner than the type that school kind of caters to,
Yeah.
which is like the take things on the fly and go.
Just accept the knowledge and then move.
Yeah, move on.
Yeah.
So if you're one of these slow learning types like me and Terrence, just build that into your framework.
Yeah.
Know that about yourself. Adapt.
Yeah. Just
And-
know that it's going to take you more time and you should
Yeah.
be fine. You got to have that time management.
And lastly, if you feel like you can't keep up with it, like if you feel like you can't keep up with it, if you're in a similar situation, it's okay to take a semester off. Like,
Yeah, you can
like
do that.
imagine if you have like something going on and it's like, don't put yourself through a whole semester of just taking L's,
Yeah.
like massive L's in your classes.
Yeah. If you know you're like, let's say if you're just in the bottom of the barrel, you're just like
I really don't have the
depressed.
energy.
Yeah. You have just debt and like
Yeah.
your family situation's bad. Like,
Sure.
if you got to take off, just take off, guys. Like, don't be a hero. You know.
Yeah.
There's no need to destroy yourself over school. School is supposed to elevate you and help you out.
Yeah, because a lot of the time, like, professors also won't really, like, they won't really sympathize with you.
No. I mean, they will, but they
Yeah.
won't. You know what I mean? They're not going to do anything to help you out.
Right.
They're going to pat you on the back, say, I'm so sorry. It's a bad situation. They might help you out some sense, like, but they're not going to reduce the workload.
No.
They're not going to, they might let you turn in a couple things late, maybe here and there, but
Right.
it's all just going to keep going. You see,
Yeah.
it's a steadily going thing because people can't just stop for you, right?
Yeah.
So they can sometimes relent, but at the end of the day, it's going to keep moving. It just depends on can you keep up with it or not. If not, there's no shame in just chilling out for a bit.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to bow out because you can always jump back in the race.
Yeah.
Because I did see too many people that just were really trying to push through and push through past semesters, and even for me, I think maybe I could have like taken a semester off just to kind of just like focus on my mental health and like find the joy in the things and navigating school better, but I didn't. I was just like, nah, I'm gonna get
just
behind
pushed
the
it.
comparison game.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Comparison game is like the number one killer for young anyone. Because your perception is so screwed up in terms of like comparing yourself with people, especially nowadays with social media when you got things like Instagram and Twitter and whatnot, and all these things where people are all on vacation, having fun, partying up.
People's
and you're just
highlight
like,
reels.
yeah, it's like everyone's highlight reels are just in your face. You gotta just tune that stuff out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that is probably one of the biggest issues.
That's why I think we don't. Well, this is an aside, but I don't think it's healthy for us to, as a society, really we should post our W's, but also post our L's. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh man, that'd be amazing, but no one would ever post their L's. Could you imagine?
but that's the thing. Like posting W's, like I don't know, like celebrate your life, but
Yeah.
but I think we kind of lose. There's not enough of the posting L's.
Yeah.
But anyway, speaking of posting W's, posting wins, the other question is, what are your best or worst physics jokes?
Oh, you might be able to get this one, Juan.
Do you want to? No,
It's hard for
but
me to
this is the
think of
thing.
these
We'll,
jokes on
we'll
the fly.
read. No, we'll read some of them. These are
Okay.
pretty good. Here we go. 3 people go camping: a physicist, an engineer, and a mathematician. They light a bonfire but forget to put it out before going to sleep. Fire spreads a bit at night. 3 scenarios. 1. The engineer wakes up first. He notices the fire extinguisher they brought along and uses it to put out the fire. Scenario 2. Physicist wakes up first. He misses the obvious fire extinguisher, notices his friends lying on a kind of carpet, and uses that to put out the fire. Number 3. The mathematician wakes up first, notices the fire extinguisher, notices the carpet. He deduces the problem is solvable and goes back to sleep.
Pretty good.
A solution exists. It's trivial. It's a trivial problem.
That's more of a mathematician slam.
Yeah, but that is be careful with that too, because me as a physicist, I sometimes fall into that trap too,
Yeah.
where I'm just like, It's a second order. You can solve this equation.
Those are the things that will get you on the exams too. You better watch out, right? It's like the things that you're like, oh, I can solve this or whatever, and then you don't actually go through the whole work, and then it's on the exam, and you run into a problem where you're like, oh shit.
There's
How do
a
I
trick
convert
here.
this to like, there's like, this is some like, oh no, I need to change this into like a spherical coordinate, or I need to do something, and then you're like, damn it.
So
If only I just went through the problem fully. You will get yourself, I promise you, if you do that.
Please try to refrain from thinking like a physicist when
Go through all of the motions.
Because the solution is trivial and it exists. Sure, but it might be hard to work through. Here's another joke. The bartender says, "We don't serve faster than light particles in here." And then the punchline is, a tachyon walks into a bar.
Saw that coming. I think I've heard that one before.
Yeah, me too. I think so. Have you heard about the man that was frozen to absolute zero?
No.
He's okay now. That's bad.
That one you kind of have to read almost.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
An helium atom a helium atom walks into a bar.
Mm-hmm.
The barman says, "Sorry, we don't serve noble gas." The helium atom doesn't react. These are bad. These are bad.
Yeah, these are cringe.
Two people walk into a bar at 99.9% of the speed of light. The bartender asks, "Why the short face?"
Relativity joke.
Oh man. Here's another question. I'm gonna move on. Is entropy an illusion?
Is entropy an illusion? Oh, we're getting to the actual physics questions now.
Do you want to see context?
Yeah, I don't know what that would mean.
Saying is entropy an illusion? Entropy is a measure for the amount of microstates that are possible in a macrostate. Like when two gases are mixed, the entropy is high because we can't see the different particles. Every gas particle is the same for us, but from the viewpoint of microstates, every particle is different. So the state where the particle is on the left side is different from the state where the particle is on the right side. So every microstate has only one possibility, is an entropy of zero. Doesn't that mean in reality entropy is always zero? We just think that it is more because we can't make a difference between all the microstates. If so, then that would mean that entropy is never increasing. It's always zero.
The microstate stuff I've forgotten because I've I kind of eschewed it when I took stat mech again. You know, because I was able to, my instructor was able to allow us to derive, partitions and functions and whatnot from quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
So the microstates and microstate stuff, I forget even what that means now.
Yeah. But some people are saying
I never
it has
liked
to do.
it, so I kind of put it out of my brain.
Well, some people are saying that it's definitely a point of like information. This is where information theory comes in. It's like, because we are there's some sort of arbitrariness, but if we're scientists, we're being scientists about it. We try to categorize certain things, right?
Sure.
So it's more of the fact that this is an emergent phenomena, right? Entropy is an emergent thing.
I don't know if that's what they're saying though.
They're
They're saying entropy is an illusion. Like there's something wrong with the term entropy. Damn one. Why'd you gotta pick one of the hardest ones?
No, just it is a hard question. It didn't have a clear
Anything
answer.
with entropy is always a bad choice. Because I hate entropy is just so deep. I barely still feel like I understand it.
Yeah, but the point is entropy is a phenomenon that has to do with the macro state, not the microstates. This person's like fixated on like, well, the microstates you kind of get to choose.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I
guess that's true, but you can still have entropy increase you can still have entropy increase in a microstate, or I guess even a decrease in a microstate. I don't know.
Yeah, but it depends on how much you want to zoom in or out of the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just, so what are they saying then?
Because they're like, it seems like an illusion because the entropy of a microstate can be zero. Like it's just a particle, and I'm like, yeah.
I don't really follow. Fully.
I know, but that's the nature of the question is strange.
Can I skip an option?
We can skip this question.
Sorry, folks. I have a little bit of a fear of entropy.
The next question is physics degree later in life. This person got a bachelor's degree in philosophy 18 years ago.
Oof.
As a 40-year-old, he wants to pursue
Big oof.
he wants to pursue a physics degree.
Mm-hmm.
He says that at his age, he doesn't see a viable career as a physicist.
Mm-hmm.
Figure he would teach at high school. And most public universities aren't keen on accepting adults who already possess a bachelor's degree. So my question is, anyone who knows a good program, blah, blah, blah. So
what's the question?
the question is it viable to get a physics degree later in life?
Absolutely. My answer is always yes. Because this is the question you got to ask yourself. If you're on your deathbed, when you're hooked up to a bunch of machines and whatnot, you're dying, and you're like,
I wish I did more second order differential.
Exactly. But in all seriousness, you don't want to regret in life. Do the things you want to do in life that you're on your deathbed and you'll be like, okay, at least I've done this. If you're like, I want to be a physicist, I really wish I was a physicist, but I'm just too old. You're not too old. You could be 80 years old and I would say, get your physics degree.
Yeah.
Like, just the act of learning the new thing and understanding and exploring the world and just opening your mind to all that stuff, it's always worth it in my opinion. Even if you are 80 and you die after a month, at least you still got to learn about the thing that you wanted to do. It's never too late.
It's never too late to learn about the harmonic oscillator. And
that will really serve you well.
Yeah.
If you just learn about the harmonic oscillator, you pretty much have learned most of physics.
80% of physics.
Yeah.
Maybe. Even modern physics.
It's just, at that point, it's just the different versions and applications of it all, So just do it, just do it. If you are on the edge about being too old and whatnot, you're not too old. 40 is not that old.
Yeah.
Or what did the guy say? How old?
Yeah, 40, yeah.
40 is not old, guys. It's not that old.
It's not that old. I've seen guys go into physics and unfortunately not many older women, but I did see an older
We've
gentleman.
had some older women in our school.
Yeah, we have,
Yeah.
But I did see, in my undergrad at least, I saw a couple older dudes who got into physics. And
Bro, I had a 70-year-old guy in one of my physics undergraduate clubs.
And I guess maybe that has to do a little bit with what we said earlier, like know your limitations. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if this is like a passion of yours and it's calling your name and you're like, I really want to do it, do it.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you're probably not going to be as spry and as be able to dedicate a lot of time as.
That's fine.
Parts. But that's what I'm saying. You have to accept.
Yeah, you can be realistic, but just don't let it dissuade you. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Very true.
But yeah, guys, just do it. Physics is great. It's so fun, and the thing is, like, I think honestly, if you have a 4-year degree in physics, you pretty much are like a complete physicist in my eyes. Sure, your knowledge may not be as in depth as someone at least who's gone through a master's education in physics, but like you can pretty much do anything. You have pretty much full physics science literacy, in my opinion. And I would even argue to say you have it by like second year of physics if you've taken enough real physics classes by second year, like 2 or 3 of the main core classes. Like, honestly, guys, it doesn't take that long to be proficient in physics. And the amount of return on your investment you get from that just intellectually is giant.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of leaps you can get with physics are like none other than when you were like a kid studying philosophy and maybe like logical, and like pure logic, when you were younger. Like, you don't get those kind of leaps anymore. But physics lets you have those leaps again. If that makes any sense. Do you understand what I'm saying there, Juan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully the audience does it well. But yeah, it's like you just have these amazing insights with physics that you just can't get anywhere else. And it's all real world insights.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
It is. It's
It's
very
almost like it's almost like you feel like, how am I allowed to have this kind of level of knowledge?
Yeah, I always joke with my friends that and my family members who like are totally outside of science. I'm just like, I have Illuminati levels
Right.
of information. Like, this is stuff that the Freemasons like had locked away in books, and you had to do really dumb, stupid rituals
Right.
to like get access to this knowledge. And
Right, like the smartest guys back in antiquity, like Pythagoras, like
yeah,
those guys only knew about like irrational, like they were just getting comfortable with the concept of an irrational number or something. And we have like quantum field theory knowledge,
yeah.
It's just like, what?
And yeah, they would get, but the I mean, it's in some ways we still gatekeep knowledge, but like they would definitely gatekeep knowledge to the nth degree, but
Right.
But at least now you get to pay for that privilege.
Right. And I mean, we live in a capitalistic society, so that's not so much to ask.
I guess, yeah. I mean, well, it depends. I mean,
and even not really, because even the internet, you can still get that knowledge if you really want it.
if you really want
It's
it
just harder to ascertain, but it's possible.
it is possible. There's a minutia of good luck learning calculus by yourself. That's all I gotta say.
But I think you can do it.
It's possible now.
You can do it.
But yeah. So the next question that I wanted to get to was, is it just me, or are so many physics problems questions worded extremely poorly? That's what the
It's
person said.
definitely not just you.
Yeah.
That's one of the major complaints I had in graduate school. Juan, I was always complaining about this. Like, professors made the problem so much harder just by having shittily written questions. Because the thing is, you'd have to go through the motions a lot of times with a meaning that you have in your mind of the problem, and then you're getting through the problem. You're like, oh, this isn't probably what they mean, and then you have to flip the meaning again and say, okay, they probably meant this.
Yeah.
So a lot of time was spent just me going through problems with an initial thought, and then realizing, oh, this is probably not what they meant. So you do waste a lot of time just trying to figure out what the question even asks.
Yeah, deciphering what the hell the professor's asking for.
But I guess it's kind of part of the fun in some sense, you could say. It depends. Because I did get really good at trying to figure out what anybody's trying to say now. So I can kind of ignore a lot of stuff if I think it's wrong and I'm trying to like see what they mean. But yeah, you do waste a lot of time trying to just guess what someone's trying to say.
Yeah. The best questions that are asked, I think, are the ones that are just pretty clear cut about, like, we want, they give you context. Like, we're talking about this. Think back to this.
Yeah.
What is blah, 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 blah? Like, or considering blah, 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 so and so, like, find this.
Right.
We had a professor that did a great job of this in grad school.
Right.
Would be like,
our quantum professor was extremely good. He would make very, very simple questions that were very understandable initially, and then he would get progressively harder with the questions, but it always was a very understandable question.
No ambiguity about what was being asked for.
Yeah. But then we had the asshole professors that would purposefully make the most ambiguous sounding questions and the most annoyingly written word questions that you would just spend so much time trying to just understand what he's even trying to say.
Yeah.
So you get both spectrums.
Yeah. Find this thing, and you're like, what? What do you find? I don't know.
And they would just have things undefined.
Yeah.
No like ambiguous boundary conditions and things, and like ambiguous terms, and you're just like,
they're like, find your way. It's like giving somebody a puzzle and showing you you start here, but then the endpoint's like somewhere over here, and the maze is not seen to you. Like, it's unclear what the maze.
Well, that's
looks
any
like.
problem you could say though.
Yeah, but the thing is,
it's more like giving someone the wrong map to go through a maze. So now you have to refix the map to know exactly the right path in the maze.
Okay, that's probably.
So it's like the map kind of is helpful because you might have some paths that are correct, but then some of the map is messed up. So now you have to like figure out what parts of that map is screwed up.
Well, a good problem I'm saying is that has guideposts.
Okay, sure. That's really a luxury though, so don't expect that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're learning, if you're going to be a future professor of physics, like, please restructure your problems to be more
like a good map has like save points.
Exactly. Yeah. This is not like what's that game called? It's like super masochistic.
Mist.
or
Is that what you mean? Or no?
I think I've heard of that game, but I'm thinking
Is that
of the
another
one.
one?
Thinking of the one that's like there's camp bonfires or something.
I'm not sure
It's
for the
like-
save points.
Yeah, it's with like some knights and they kill monsters or something. I forget the name of the game.
Yeah, I don't know.
But all my friends who are masochists love that game. And it's like
Oh,
allegory
Dark
for physics.
Souls.
Dark Souls.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just people putting themselves through hell, and that's kind of how it feels like the physics problem. Like you're just like, what? There's a level 50 like what is it called? A level 50
Demon or something.
that Greek creature Minotaur. There's a
Minotaur. Yeah.
there's a level 50 Minotaur here, and it's like, damn, I have no save point. Actually,
It's
I'm
like
pretty
level
sure
10.
I'm pretty sure I'm going the wrong way. Actually, if I'm seeing this,
Right.
it's some unsolvable integral. Like you're just like, what the fuck? This doesn't look right.
Right.
But that's kind of what you'll get into if you don't have a good guidepost, because it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, you can go down rabbit holes that are just not fruitful.
I shouldn't
Yeah.
be doing contour integrals at like,
Right.
this.
In intro physics.
Yeah.
Or something.
I took a wrong turn somewhere. But yeah, it's physics does suffer from this. Look, my thing is that I learned way too late in the game is ask professors to clarify.
Yeah, you can get a lot of clarification a lot of times from professors.
A lot of them will get annoyed.
Some of them will.
Yeah.
Some of them are not helpful, but then
No.
sometimes they are. So you got to just, check it out and see what's what.
Yeah, some of them are like kind of like intentionally they're just like they ask you questions back.
Right.
Yeah. And just throw it right back at you.
One's reminding me of grad school now. of a professor that we've had.
Yeah, it's like that scene in a 40-Year-Old Virgin where one of the strategies is like just ask them
their
questions.
questions.
Back. It's like, what do you like? You know,
like, what do you like to do? What do you like to do?
it's literally like I've had conversations like with professors. I'm like, you're stonewalling me.
Right.
You're not even gonna
Like, I could have done this myself, right? Like, I came to you to have some clarity, just not to have questions thrown back. It's like, all right.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. Anyway, that's it's annoying.
You're like, does this answer have some validity? Does it have some validity? It's like, all right. Thanks for nothing.
Yeah.
But it's all good,
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to do that. I mean, that was our strategy. One was, we would just go through a bunch of iterations of the problem, and then eventually you would figure it out. And you usually can guide yourself that way. It just takes extra time, but it's possible.
Yeah. Next question. Here we go. So, first year PhD student increasingly disillusioned. So here, give you some context.
Poor kid.
I am in the U.S. and damn, it's a long. Holy crap! It's a long post.
We'll
Okay.
summarize.
They went to a
Some
very
time.
prestigious high school, and due to financial reasons, had to lower their gaze from elite universities. And they went to a good public school, and yeah, they did. They decided to do physics.
Yep.
And in the end, their choice was between a PhD at their undergraduate institution, and they went with the PhD their first semester and feeling inadequate.
Yep.
Was trying hard, and they love teaching and love researching. A professorship is an absolute dream job. However, the applications to job openings is not in their favor, and they're nowhere near the top of the resume pile. They want to believe that school names don't matter, that your advisor doesn't make or break your career, blah blah blah, and that your own merit is almost all that shines through. But I've never once seen evidence of this after reading hundreds and hundreds of stories. And they say, I need advice. I'm giving it fast. Worse still, I can't think of any other places I'd like to be. So yeah.
Yeah, they're right in some sense, and they're wrong in some sense. Like, I see they're caught in the negative feedback loop. But
Yeah.
the thing is, nowhere in life does merit matter, really.
That's your first conceit.
Yeah, that's your first mistake. So,
Yeah.
the key is always who you know. Like, even in physics, guys, I know you guys like to think it's like you could be a rock star stellar physicist, and I mean, there's some truth to that. You know, there are some guys out there, Ed Wittens, Nima Arcani Ahmeds, and Juan Maldacenas, but the thing is, guys, be realistic. We got to make networks. Be friends with people. Talk to professors. Talk to, you know, whoever it may be. If you talk to people, you're going to be exponentially on a better track to getting to where you want to be than just strictly merit-based. You know, do good work and do your good stuff, but, you know, people ultimately at the end of the day just want to be around people who they like, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Don't be a Debbie Downer and you'll be good in life.
Yeah. Look, I've had job interviews where mainly the questions are, how well do you mesh with people?
Right.
And that's been a huge kind of surprise to me, because I'm like, damn, like they barely ask any kind of merit-based questions, because I guess like your CV or resume is just supposed to serve as like okay, are you experienced for the job?
Do you meet the minimum criteria?
Yeah.
People just look at it as like checking a box, you know? Oh, he meets this. Okay, I don't care. Yeah. Now, who are you?
Yeah.
You know, they want to know if you're going to fit with the culture. Are you someone to get along with other people? Are you going to, you know, provide a nice work atmosphere? I mean, that's really it, guys. That's mostly what it is. And if you can have friends who already are in positions, then you're even more golden, right? So it's like, it's very network based. Our life is network based. Humans are social creatures. Even if you're an introverted, you know, Terminator, you gotta come to the light every now and then.
Please don't market yourself as a lone wolf type of person either.
Yeah, no one cares,
because you're not. Yeah, the institute. Well, I mean, you can sort of work in that atmosphere as maybe like a high galaxy brain, like intellectual in your particular specialty.
Right.
But if you're like,
and you better have a friend who's in the mix though. Like, you could maybe be a galaxy brain lone wolf if you have a buddy who's like, you know, let's say if you have a buddy who's real friendly with people in the work environment, they know your skill and they bring you in, then you might be okay. But then again, that's networking. So you got to at least know a few people. But if you're just strictly merit-based and you have no friends or people who, you know, who can vouch for you or anything, then you're going to have exponentially a harder time.
Yeah, especially for like physics academic positions or faculty positions in probably any field.
For sure.
Just, yeah, if you're like any of the average, if you're literally the average student, which is somebody who has a B average, like a 3.0, which most physicists, I think, they lie anywhere between the three. I'm gonna use normal distributions, but anywhere between the 3.0, 3.5 range.
Sure.
Anything above the 3.5, you're probably an exceptional student.
And even if you're in the 2 range, it ain't the end of the world. I have no buddies who are in the 2 range as well. And they're more successful than me. So.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Like you might have a harder time getting in, but that's where you put all your chips in the networking basket. So I say all this because I think it serves well to put in the work, but also put in time to make connections and nourish those connections and like really flesh that out.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Like for me, I'm in it for the long haul.
Right.
Like I'm waiting for my friends to get PhDs.
Right.
So that when they get into institutions, I could be like, hey, so
yeah.
So maybe
don't forget your boy.
So maybe I can serve as a adjunct faculty. Maybe?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, guys.
It's like you can find ways to get into the place if you want to. But I'm also being tongue in cheek here about like waiting for the long haul because obviously don't bet
don't
on
invest too many chips on that, but definitely know people, you know.
But yeah, know people.
Join clubs, as I always say. Join clubs, join organizations, go out to events.
Yeah.
Volunteer for as many things as you possibly can. Be in the yes game of always saying yes to events and things. People will remember you if they like you. They'll, you know, bring your name up when there's things that come about, when there's positions that open up. Be in the yes game. You want to be friendly with many people as possible. to me, that is the whole selling point of college, aside from just getting the time to learn new knowledge, is the networking game. If you're talking universally across the board, it's all about the networking and learning to make friends and meet people.
Yeah.
That's it, really. If you want a key to life and success, that's really the key. That's it. I mean, there's no secrets beyond that. That's pretty much it. If you want to take one thing from this, that's it.
Yeah. But yeah, did you have any other questions?
Well, we were looking at pretty much the same list, and you kind of went a different route than I went, because I was looking at physics-based questions.
Oh, actually,
but now I kind of think we should just keep it on the, because it's been a while since we've done an episode on like the more meta aspects of like the physics route.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this. So maybe continuing on this track, it was good. Oh, we're at 56.
Yeah, we're almost done. We probably have
Maybe
time for one more
question.
question. Yeah. Let me see.
Is there any funny ones?
No,
Maybe
but
no.
but they're
Funny note.
But the highest ones are all mainly career ones.
Yeah.
How difficult was the jump from undergrad to grad school for you?
Oh, that's a good question. I like that one. Let's take it.
Go for it.
So undergrad to graduate school. It's definitely a little bit of a shock to get into graduate school, because you have the mindset of, oh, it's just a continuation of undergraduate. And then, of course, like you always believe, especially when you're young, you think that, oh, I'm going to do it different.
Mm-hmm.
The grad students, people who are in Ph.D s, they kind of exaggerate just to make it seem hard, like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll get through it. And you're right in some sense. It is a little bit scare tactic-y. So I won't even say that that's wrong, but it is probably harder in ways you may not understand why exactly.
Yeah, it's like scared straight. They just like, you have boot camp people just being like yelling in your face.
Right.
It's going to be the worst 2 years of your life.
Right, and you're like, okay, whatever. And I mean, there is some validity to that. I was an eye roll guy too in some sense. Because the thing is, I was like, I'm used to working long hours. I can work 15 hours a day. I've already proven that undergraduate. I work in the lab all the time. I have no life essentially anyway. I don't give a fuck about time.
Yeah, but the thing that they don't tell you is it's different when your lower back starts hurting.
That's the key, and nobody really mentions this. It's the health aspects that really get to you. It's like when you can't eat proper food at time, when you can't get the right amounts of sleep, when you're like in pain because your back hurts, like Juan is saying. It's like, it's actually kind of these things that take the toll, and then that's really the part. And then also, like, it's harder to do socialize with people, relationships, like, it's tough. It's tough. Like, your boyfriend or girlfriend better be pretty resilient because you're going to be working all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
grad
it's
school is a tough time. I would honestly say it's... I've only seen it work, honestly, when you're in the same field.
What, relationships?
Yeah, I've only seen it work when they're in the same field. Unfortunately, like,
you can commiserate together.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in some ways you understand each other's plight, but then also just like, if there's different, because in physics it's like the workload is high, and in other disciplines it might not be the same, but yeah. Right.
So it's like you're committing all this time is basically saying that I choose to commit this time to my research over
a relationship,
over you as a relationship in your relationship.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of things that take a toll. And then you're like, fuck, man. And then you're like, okay, I see. It's not really that hard. Yeah. It's like the consequences of dedicating yourself this much time to something is really the part that hurts.
Yeah, because in undergrad you probably had time to give to yourself and cook yourself food and go work out and all this other stuff.
And you were younger, so even if you didn't do that, you could eat McDonald's or something and be all right,
Yeah.
But now it's like, now you got conditions. Now you got to go to the doctor to get pills and whatnot sometimes, exactly, and then you're like, crap, man, I can't be eating ramen noodles at 30 years old.
Either that or you get heartburn, acid reflux, or like...
Right.
Yeah, your body's... You just feel your knees deteriorating.
Yeah.
You're just like, I can't sit down for too long.
Right.
Things like that. Things just start piling on.
Right,
it's like, man.
Right. And then when you do have free time, you have to really choose what you want to do with that time. and then you're exhausted. You're like, okay, do I want to hang out with my friends with some free time? But then you're like, I've been working all week. I kind of want to just sleep. So it's like, if you do that, then you're losing the time on the social aspects. So you really have to maximize your time spent in some sense. Basically the hard part is the amount of stuff you have to do. It fills up your day so much that it's really a balancing act of how well you manage your time. So that's the key, really. That's the hardest part of grad school versus undergrad, I would say, is the time management. If that sounds small to you, it's because you really don't understand you really don't understand the extent of how important time management is the more things you do. Mm-hmm. Like Juan had a good quote about like grad school is basically you're half-assing a bunch of things. Like normally you can just whole-ass one thing. Like in undergrad you can whole-ass physics, but in graduate school you're half-assing a bunch of things. You're doing school, you're doing teaching and research. And if you think that that's minimal, it's not, because research you can dedicate hours to if you really wanted to. You have to literally pull yourself back to go to something else because you have to proportion that time. Classes, if you really think about it, you could dedicate all your time to that as well. But you have to pull back, and that means you have to half-ass things, or suffer and try to do a lot more work, and then take that time from sleep, let's say. And then you have to do teaching. And the thing is, students rely on your teaching. Like, think about you as a student. The things you would say about your teachers, like, oh, they can't even get the tests in on time. They can't grade these things. It's like, now when you're the teacher, you see that, oh, I don't want to get the tests in on time because I literally have so much other stuff to do. I have a test myself tomorrow, and I have to get research done. It's like, and then you realize these fallacies you used to say when you were younger. You don't realize how much time is spent doing all these things. And the thing about teaching, another aspect of that is, it's like you could spend 6 hours, 7 hours doing teaching and grading, and that's time that it feels like you're not even using that time for anything productive in terms of your own advancement. So it's like these bits and pieces of time really add up. Man. But anyway, Juan, what would you say about that? Do you have anything to add on to that?
I mean, just that, man. It's just tough. Like managing your time. You're right.
But what would you say is the most critical switch between undergrad and graduate? Like, what's the biggest? You literally don't have time for
anything else. Like, if I would not recommend grad school if you are a play type person.
We had this conversation before: the play versus pain mentality.
But if you're the play, but also like you can offset that if you do a lot of work. Like if you're okay with doing a lot of work, and then maybe doing some play.
Then you
good.
Can do it.
But if you're just like I'm saying,
that play
like,
just better be
very small.
Partitioned. Also, like you need to have a plan of what that play is going to be. Is it going to be you playing video games? Is it going to be you hanging out with people? Is it going to be you maybe just getting a little bit extra sleep? You better know, because if you don't have a plan for it, then you're sacrificing something. You just have to know what it is that you're sacrificing.
That's kind of the thing. Like you have to be really. It's a lot of responsibility that you're going to be taking on, and not only for yourself, but your career, because this is your career, and you're probably it's just a lot. It's a lot. So, please take it seriously and do the work. Otherwise, you'll have to be shifting your plans quite a bit, and it forces you to adapt. And you have to adapt, or you won't make it through. So.
Right, and you'll get through. If you're the person who gets accepted into grad school, I mean, you could definitely do it, guys. This is just all part of the process. You just get more and more optimized and better at what you do, ideally, in life. And you can take on more and more responsibility until it's like, it just becomes cake, and you're like, I'm just a master of my universe. And that requires sometimes breaking a few eggs, Sometimes it's going to be a painful process, but that's how you know you're doing well and you're learning and you're growing.
And with that, folks, I think we'll leave you with that. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Indeed.
And maybe you have any questions for us. This is like an extended Ask the Eigenbros kind of, I guess, segment.
Oh, we didn't even do the Ask. Oh, but nobody emailed us
questions.
Ask Eigenbros. Oh,
damn.
Well, maybe we'll do it.
Well, we did one of our own, so about that. So anyway, Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all
Yes.
that jazz.
Check out the website, Eigenbros.com, Eigenbros on Instagram, Eigenbros on Twitter, Eigenbros2 on TikTok. And then patrons, guys, we appreciate you. We really do. You guys help us out a bunch. And if you want to become a patron, remember it's patreon.com/Eigenbros. And then me and Juan do a 30-minute podcast at least every week. I think we get like a, well, I'm not even gonna say.
We're not gonna say.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, so check that out, and that's it.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.